Greetings, my name is Arturo with Electrical Surgeon, and here we're going to interview Justin, owner of Modified Tattoo Gallery. Follow me. Greetings, my name is Arturo, and today we're going to be interviewing a longtime client. Great to have you on the show. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm Justin Barrera, owner of Modified Tattoos.
I got a question for you. How long you have been tattooing?
It's been about 21 years now. Half of that's been in New York, and half of it's been here in Orlando, Florida.
Nice, nice. To follow up with that, what were some of the hurdles when you're building your business?
The actual business, like the location here, I would have to say just the environment, you know. Trying to get people to feel more personalized in here versus, I think one of the biggest hurdles for some artists is choosing to work in an open style layout or a layout with private rooms. It helps some of the clients, you know.
Okay. And maybe how to adapt to a new environment or the ideas that you have and implement it to clients that might not have had the ideas that you came, like how you kind of convince them to explore more to that.
So as far as the tattoo ideas, a lot of times it just takes like envisioning what they're trying to say. Some people don't have the visualization for it. They can have so many ideas like broadly, but don't know how to like put it together. Which also comes into one of the hurdles I had here when I was building the place. I spoke to many people on coming up with ideas for the shop, creating the environment, which had a lot to do with the lighting and stuff like that. And it's the reason why I chose Electrical Surgeon.
Nice to hear that. What is the thought process when a client shows you a tattoo that they want, but then you got to see how that actually is going to work and, go from there. How that process?
It really takes work. It's not something that's just going to come to you like that. It takes putting in the effort and looking at every aspect of the situation. Where are they putting it? How is the tattoo going to fit on their body? Can everything that they want to put on their body fit? Sometimes people come up with so many ideas that are vast, and you just don't know which direction they're going to go. You have to break it down, find out a solution for those things and how to fit them, and then do the work, the in-between stuff, molding everything together, modifying it to make it work.
Nice. And looking at a positive output, how to explain that to the client without them feeling like the idea was not good. It's just, it needs elaboration.
That's the hard part. A bedside manner.
Yeah.
How to not everybody wants to hear that their idea is not going to work. But I have this saying all the time is a lot of times we do so good at our work for so long through social media and through posting pictures, people will turn us into magicians, and it's not the case. It takes a lot of effort to try to get something to work for somebody. It's just not easily done. If you care, it's going to be even harder because you want that tattoo to be meaningful. You want it to be as close as to the meaning that they want it when they first had the idea. Because a lot of people, when they come up with their ideas, the first thing they think of is, how would this translate to everyone else? Will they understand it? Could it tell a story? That's when it becomes hard, because then you have to create a composition to fit that storytelling. And then you have to fit that composition on the body. It's not going on a paper, which was much more easier to do. Another reason why we do not copy things straight off of paper and onto the skin. A lot of times we will reformat it, create a whole composition for the arm.
The paper's like a rough draft.
It's the rough draft, and we help through the process in between so that you can see what we're going through, the issues that we are, the walls that we're hitting.
Correct.
And
how passing those walls, how we're going to work it. Yeah.
Exactly. And that helps them understand. versus working behind closed doors, throwing a drawing on them on their lap, and then they're going, "Hey, this is not what I expected." Yeah, your idea is not going to work. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
It's better for us to communicate through the process.
I think we could relate also in an outline of word because, a lot of times they ask for something that they have a vision, but, they don't know how it's going to work. So things are possible, things are not possible. In our job, we try to, like you said earlier, not say no.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this is what you want. This is how we can make this. This could look better this way. And then at the end, that client be happy, not be like, oh, this guy didn't do what I wanted.
And
And
that's
explain the things behind it.
Yeah.
That way they understand.
And that's one of the good aspects, and also one of the good experiences I had with you guys is when I had consultations before, me having to be an artist and go through that process and figure things out. There's a lot of people who just wanted it the easy way and didn't want to figure anything out. You came in and were able to figure out the problems that we were having in the ceilings with the electricals, having all the rooms here and being able to distribute the lighting correctly. It was just, you did the work before you were hired just to even see if it was possible. You didn't give me a hard time or try to get me to understand why it was going to be so difficult. You just alleviated me from that, and that was great.
And talking about that, sorry to interrupt you there, but something that I was going to ask you is what made you remodel the place? You gave us a little bit of how we helped you out, but what was that like? What made you want to remodel?
So you've seen the place before, and they haven't, but this whole place used to be completely white, had 2 big rooms. The square footage wasn't being utilized correctly, so we had half the shop was useless. We weren't taking advantage of the square foot here. I had artists that were working with us for years. What is it? Stephanie's been here going on 15 years. Matt's been going on 10 years. Annie's going on, I believe, her 4th year coming up soon. And everybody wanted their own rooms, their own environment. Sometimes as an artist, you want to feel like you have your own shop, but you don't want to take the responsibility to have a shop.
I noticed that they got their own way of doing things too. So their rooms are all different. So invite the type of people that want that type of tattoos. So
and the one thing we had to do was, remember, we had to make sure each room had full control of their own lighting aspects, which overcomplicated things. And a lot of people were like, oh, you're going to have to do this, you're going to have to do that, making me feel like they didn't want to do the job, like it was too hard for them, And I think when tattoo artists speak in that manner, which I've seen artists, I've worked with artists like that, they make the client feel that they don't want to do the work. They don't want to try. They don't want to push themselves to create solutions for new things that are happening. And every year, I think people are growing, creating new styles and ways of doing things. And some people just want to do it the cookie cutter way, And it's modified. We're completely modified. We don't leave anything, the
you guys
normal
notice
way.
Those titles? He's a modified. We're surgeons. That's the dedication that we put into the craft that we do, and we love what we're doing. So we got to put like those strong words that kind of like defines who we are, what we do. Yeah. So I like that about
breaking the barrier and pushing here for better.
Yeah. I like that.
So it worked out in the sense where, I didn't have to feel stressed out if the person wanted to do the job and I was going to get the short end of the stick just because I wanted something that was too much money or too much work, and they were just going to do whatever at the end of the day. So yeah, I was nervous throughout the whole process. After the first few jobs, I felt so comfortable. I just kept calling back, and we kept growing. And every time we kept doing something, we just did the piercing room. You did the lights there as well. We did it in stages as well too. So there's a lot of room for making things happen.
I guess it goes like as you grew and you saw the things that you needed. You thought, okay, who could see my vision? I guess is the
yeah. And you also helped me out realize like what was going to be possible and not possible if we didn't prepare for those things to happen in the future. So it allowed us to just call you back, tell you we wanted to go to the next phase of growth, and you came in, you already knew what needed to be done.
The type of clients that we like to be challenged. I mean, we're not here, like he said earlier, that, something nice and quick. No, this is the way it's always been. This is the way we do things, and we can't do what you're talking about. We don't mind being challenged, and this is a client that we didn't do just one job for, and we're like, oof, we got rid of that. Nah, that's the type of thing that we are accustomed to. We take challenges, we make them happen, and that's what has built a great relationship here. I got more questions for you. What was your goal of the shop remodel? Like you explain a little bit of how it happened, but your ultimate goal, what was it?
uh, controllability for each environment. I don't do well with light, so I'm wearing glasses all the time, and I tattoo in the dark. You know, I only have one ring light above me, so sometimes I like to turn off the light independently from the rest of the shop. We have um the first shop layout. We had the cinema. We had a 150-inch screen. It was impossible to see. We were too close. We needed to move things, so we reformatted everything. We brought that room, the cinema room, all the way to the front. That way, we didn't have people running back and forth. We had people who would come in, and we would greet them. They would go and sit down all the way in the back, then come all the way back up to the front, and it was back and forth, back and forth. So now we have the showroom that's lit a certain way so that everybody can see everything nicely. Then we have the area that we're in, which is actually the projector room, the cinema room, which we do a lot of our education, and we have our waiting area for everybody to sit down and watch movies and stuff like that while they're here, or if they brought friends that are waiting for them to finish their tattoos. And we wanted that area to be nice and dark because, as we all know, projectors only really work well when it's lit properly. Not to say, well, when it's dark,
the right dimming scenario.
Yeah, exactly. So each area in the shop is lit differently, even down to our gallery area that we're in the middle of completely furnishing. But right now it's empty, but we have the lights facing each wall separately and able to be dimmed individually. So that's great. It's like everything is controllable here.
It was part of what you asked us, that you wanted like some type of recessed lighting, but you wanted to be able to focus a certain, because I see last we could see you got artwork too. So you want to be able to, show certain aspects.
You want to be able to see the artwork and at the same time still make this as low light as possible to see the rest, so people can continue to take pictures.
So what I could notice is that you came to a place where they had things certain way, and as you kept working, you're like, this doesn't make too much sense to me. Let me make it the way they should. And now I can see that everything is like as it should be. Like the beginning is for something, the hallways for the other. Now you got everything set up the way that you feel works best. So ultimately, you was thinking about your clients, and their comfort and what you want it to look like.
That was the most important part. It's we want the environment for everybody to be cozy and comfortable in here. Most importantly, every shop that I've ever worked at that is open layout and doesn't have a controllable environment, it always felt transactional. You come in and that's it, and things have changed due to COVID. It's a big difference now how people interact and travel to stores and stuff like that. A lot of people order things online now, but we are still a service. You have to interact with us. And we want you to come home and binge watch your TV shows, whichever room you're in. Still bring your friends, introduce them to us so that they can, do their future tattoos as well. And them feel comfortable waiting, because we specialize in very large upscale tattoos. And sometimes I'm tattooing up to 13 hours. And you will have people, friends and family sitting here binge watching their TV shows and never think once of, I've been here way too long, you know? Yeah. And we order food. We have drinks and everything, chips, candy. It's a vibe in here, and they get to hang out and chill.
The thing that impresses me a lot here is how you chose to call it gallery at the end, the whole gallery thing, and I could see it. Cool. But how you got inspired with that?
Oh, that progressed. Okay, it wasn't always that way. is basically when I met my wife. Um, we were in a different lifestyle, still tattoos, but much more aggressive. Being from New York, we were able to do a lot more things. The piercing world was a lot more aggressive, from suspensions, silicone implants, using scalpels. In Florida, it's a little bit more conservative, and we're not allowed to use those tools. So I had to hang up a lot of those things. So we don't do them. So we stuck with modified because that's what we were. I do a lot of things with cars and motorcycles. I do a lot of modifying. I never leave anything the same. And Stephanie was my wife. Well, she is my wife, but Stephanie was highly modified and in that aspect of the world where she had a lot of different, piercings and such. And so we kept it modified, but we want it to be a full artistic shop where the only people that were hired here were artists, not tattooists, which to us are different. We have tattoo artists and tattooists. The people who choose to just copy and make a paycheck, and then the others who decide they want to create, they want to push the boundaries, they want to have problems and create solutions, and that's what
they
we
want
are.
the challenges.
They want the challenges, correct. So we decided to name it Tattoo Gallery so that they can enjoy and put their artwork up. We have stuff designed by Stephanie, prints and originals done by Matthew. So they get to feel like
it's beautiful stuff.
Yeah, they feel like it's their home and they get to put their stuff up. And you get some shops that are organized. They feel like every artist comes and goes as they please. So they'll furnish the place and not care who works for them. They'll
just have an area to sit down.
Exactly. And everybody, a lot of us will fight. I've had friends who will fight. It's like, hey, can I put this stuff up? Can I organize like this? They want to make the place theirs so they can stay there long term. But you make them feel like a stranger every time they come to work. So every day they feel like, hey, I want to find a place that's me. We are our individuality. We're tattoo artists to express ourselves. And I don't feel like I could do that here, So they leave. Mm-hmm. And that's what we wanted to create. We wanted somebody to come here and work and feel like they were going from their home to their home. And there was no rush to actually leave this place of work because they were comfortable.
They're like, where the time went?
I have Matthew. Matthew leaves home. He comes here. He works at 8 a.m. We don't open at 8 a.m. We open up at 12. So each artist has their own schedules. They do as they please. They come and go, and they have their quality of life. They get to have their time with families. They're not sitting here twiddling their thumbs waiting for somebody to come in. So it's their escape as well too. They can come at any given time of the day to work. This is our private studio. This is their home.
Man, I really appreciate you sharing that. That's at the end of the day, is your personal way of doing your business. So I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Thank you.
And with the viewers watching. You kind of explain a little bit on the decision of using an electrical surgeon, but let's just ask it more direct. So why electrical surgeon?
I feel like the most important part was I felt like you worked here. You had the same way of working that we do, putting the actual work in, doing a full consult, and no matter what the problem was, exhausting every option before saying no. That's all I ever wanted, is someone to actually put in the work and show me, hey, you're asking for something that's impossible, Because I know I wasn't asking for anything that's impossible. You see all these custom homes. What's the difference between those people building this and other people? Is it do they not just want to do their job? Do they do not know how? What is it? So feeling that you were attacking things the same way we do, and we do it on skin, we don't have room for error, So I felt that was it, That was a deciding factor.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And with that, one of the things that we tell our electricians is that when you're in a scenario where they're asking for something difficult, or it looks like you can't do nothing, if we don't do it, they're gonna call another electrician. And I never had that. That's what I tell them when they ask me, Arturo, I don't know what to do. This is, hey, figure it out. Let's figure it out together, because I'm not gonna have them call an electrician. It's either us or us. So that's kind of like the attitude that we perceive. Somebody in this world is gonna make it happen, and we want it to be us because that we care and we want to make it happen, get it done. So thank you for your answer. It was a good answer. So let's kind of like wrap it up with our main question. What was your experience with electrical surgeon like? So you have explained details and all that, but let's go to the summary. What was your experience with electrical surgeon?
Um, hmm. I would have to say it was carefree. That's my experience. I feel like you have a system of everything organized. Sometimes I had questions and you had answers and you had notes for everything. You guys came in, had notes on every single aspect. I didn't have to come searching for anybody when they were doing their work to ask them what was going on. I was always fully informed. I just sat back and just continued doing my work and just never really had to worry. So I think it's just the carefree aspect of it because I worry every day as an owner how things are going to take place, you know, and to hire you to do a job and for once not have to run after somebody, that was great, you know.
Nice to hear. Nice to hear.
Mhm.
Great feedback. Well, thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thank
It's
you for
been
your
great.
work.
You're welcome, sir. Um, Here are we got Daniel, our assistant manager. We got Agustina. She's the one behind all this cameras and sound. She's doing a good job for us here. Um, you got any comment on what you saw? Or anything?
No, it was just a good interview. Good to see both point of views, and no, nice
Cool,
work.
cool. How about you?
I thought it was amazing. I thought like all your answers were like you gave all the details that I feel like I personally wanted because I was like curious and like I feel like what other like the answers like anyone else would want. You didn't just give like one solid answer.
Yeah, I feel like talking to everybody and being like 100% on point articulates yourself correctly because there's someone right there sitting down watching this video and they need an answer on who they're going to choose. And I feel like that with tattoos is the one time that you're going to get this right on your body, you know? And there's another reason why we do laser tattoo removal because plenty of people have been somewhere else and their bodies have been damaged due to not really caring, you know? And we're here to correct everything, fix them, go through the hard times with everybody. And that's going to take being, you know, having that good communication, you know? And I think everybody's waiting for that, you know? And they're the ones to choose, you know?
Amen. Amen. Well, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. We're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you again. I know that time is valuable, and you took this time to be with us here. We appreciate it. I hope that we continue this workmanship, this client to business relationship. We enjoy your challenges, so I know that you're gonna keep growing, and as you keep growing, we're gonna be there for you, man.
Yeah.
All right. Leave us any comments. Let us know what you guys thought about this, and any questions. Also, just let us know. And like we always say, electrical surgeon, suturing your electrical wounds. Till next time.